Hey my friends, it's your friend Kevin. If you've been following my videos, you'll know that this week I've had a little bit of a challenge trying to find a description for the cards I'm pulling from Oracle of Fairies by Karen Kay. And what I love about what I've now discovered is that this misstep or mistake is actually quite delicious. And I like it when missteps lead to what I call spiritual detours. As many of you know, the fairy realm definitely has a comical sense of humor that you could never expect things to be the way that you thought perhaps they would be. And there's usually some magic as well as mischief mixed into it. So it's if you're working with fairy cards, fairy energy, the fae, any of that, just expect that things are not necessarily going to pop in or out the way you thought they would, with no exception this week. So, I had been reading from what I believed was Oracle of the Fairies. Delightful cards, wonderful. I had presented two videos on how I have manifest with the cards. Did that on Saturday. What I did that was a misstep that ended up being, something different. I put this deck of cards in this box. So in other words, when I went to pull what I thought was Oracle of the Fairy cards, I was actually pulling Manifestation of the Fairies. So this led me to pulling a guidebook that I was trying to find the description from the author because I really liked their take on why these cards were created, and I couldn't find one. First of all, I couldn't find one for Sunday, which is our card of sensitivity. And then on Monday, I couldn't find the one for creativity. And so today, I was not surprised I couldn't find the one for enthusiasm. So I went ahead and did my reading and put in my thoughts and feelings about them. Brought in my two fairies, which is Gertrude and Beatrice. They gave me their interpretation. Well, after I posted today's, I suddenly got this notion, message, what have you, that said they're in the wrong box. So I thought, well, maybe they are in the wrong box. And indeed they were. The box is actually manifestation of the fairies. And manifesting is an inside and outside job. So now let us begin. So let me do a bit of a recap on the three cards that I pulled and give you more or less a 3-card reading from the fairies. So let's get right to these cards. Here they are. This came along with Sunday's sensitivity. This one came along with Monday's creativity. And this one came along with today, enthusiasm. Well, I'm actually going to read these as a 3-card spread, but give you more or less, let the fairies have it and let them give you almost like a bonus reading to give you some insight into, what do they want us to manifest now? Because our angel numerology number is a 6, which is look at the plan and revise it. Well, what do they want us to know about the plans or what's going on in our world and the world at large? Starting off with where we are is sensitivity. Feeling sensitive to what's going on. Feeling that things are kind of out of whack, not quite working the way we thought they would work. Well, sensitivity is shown here as a fairy angel with a unicorn. Unicorns are the rarest creatures, And this a unicorn, is attracted to the fairy angel. In this case, it's a bit like a fairy king. This fairy king is actually highly, highly sensitive. So there's purity coming from this unicorn. And this pure, sensitive energy, they take themselves very, very lightly. They can reside in the heavenly realms as well as the fairy realms, and they're very comfortable in both realms. So this card to me says where we are right now is in the mode of sensitivity, where we're in the physical world as well as the physical world, working both of them in very light, what can I say, energy, if you will, lightheartedness. The reason I say that is because it seems to be really counterintuitive for many of us to be pulled into the heavy, egoic, powerful push that most people are experiencing. We are more or less experiencing our feeling of sensitivity right now, not so much the feeling of anger, frustration, and just general unkindness. So accept your sensitivity as you go through the day, the life this week, and look at it as sensitivity being your superpower, not your weakness, if that makes sense. Now, we move on to the second card, which is really how do we invoke this sensitivity? This is what's happening. This is the reason we're coming to this. And then this is what we do with it. The action plan. What do we do with it? What can we do with it? And when I pulled this card, I saw the two fairies sitting in the garden throwing seeds out to the world. Well, according to this guidebook and my interpretation of it, creativity is through your use of art, your use of music, your use of writing. It's also suggesting we create an entirely new blank canvas to the life that we're living. And because this is manifesting with the fairies, they are suggesting that anything and everything you ever did and the way you approached things, take it in a different direction. So let's look at this painting and artistic stuff, if you will. Maybe you're the kind of person who says, I'm not artistic, I don't know what or how to be artistic. Well, perhaps you should try. Go get a notebook and a pencil and start doodling. Or if you already do doodle and you already do sketch, fill it in with some crayons. The wish of this particular fairy queen is to get you boldly to express yourself. Bring out your artistic side. Let your joy be seen. So what will you choose to create? And see every single moment of the day and every day of the week as that blank canvas, and do with it whatever you want to do with it. Pretty much anything can be turned into a creative process if you let it. Even the mundane, boring activities like washing the dishes and cooking food can be really, really creative. Anything, bathing, getting dressed, cooking, cleaning, and whatever. When somebody pulls in that art of creativity, it can make everything in your life a lot more fun. And which is why I love doing this particular video, because I had fun with the fact that I put a deck of cards in the box that it didn't come with. Was it the wrong box? Some people call it the wrong box. Was it the wrong box for me? Not really, since I've got this reading that came up out of it. Manifesting creativity by being creative yourself, by putting that being of creativity into your heart, and visualize something that brings you joy. Now, here's an affirmation. Creative ideas and solutions come to me easily and effortlessly. My creativity brings prosperity and abundance. Now, we now move on to, we know that we're sensitive. And we know that we're allowed to be sensitive, and sensitivity is our superpower. So now we've added on to this, in order to work with our sensitivity, pull that in to the feeling of being creative in order to find the joy, right? So now what's going to happen, or what will likely be the probability when you put these two together? The card of enthusiasm comes up, and the card of enthusiasm says, when you wake up each morning and you say yes to the creativity and you get creative, you get into life, you're nurturing fairy energy. You're nurturing that fairy essence for living in a proactive way. So this is the result. The enthusiasm is the result of getting creative, of using your sensitivity to push past the ego that says, I'm not creative and I can't do it. Train yourself to be enthusiastic. That can almost be like when you open your eyes, instead of saying, oh, I need more sleep, oh my goodness, get up out of bed, clap your hands together, happy, happy, joy, joy, say yes, even if you don't feel like saying yes. Here I go, here I go. This is what happens. That enthusiasm comes from this being of, I just created this, I just made this happen, I just got this going on, I just made something out of nothing. Manifesting enthusiasm by seeing absolutely everything as a divine service to yourself and then to the world. Whether it's serving your neighbor, your friends, the people that you work with, feeling a little more fulfilled and energized, whatever it is, it's a task at hand. And the affirmation that Karen Kay gives is, I am highly motivated and live my life as fully as possible. My enthusiasm is catching, meaning the enthusiasm is absolutely like you can't get away from it. You know, for I'll give you an example. Yesterday I was ordering some food, and the lady that was serving me had these phenomenal fingernails. I mean, they weren't too long, but they had like, well, basically they had almost like little villages on them. They were fascinating me. And I was enthralled with it. I mean, show me your fingernails. They were like, woo! I got enthusiastic about this lady's fingernails. Now, I don't want to go and get fingernails like that, but I was curious. How do you do what you do? And this lady was lit up, the fact that I was enthralled with her fingernails. Simple, something simple like that. I find that when I invoke my creativity, when I don't even have it in front of me, I started crochet. Yes, it's frustrating because I didn't know what I was doing. And I just started. Now I've got this blanket that won't stop. It's just like this. How much more of these colors can I put in here? That is enthusiasm. That is creativity. But it's also speaking to my sensitive side. It's also speaking to invoking that energy. And when I stay in that effervescent bubble and that effervescence flow of being proud of my superpower of sensitivity, of being able to be creative in whatever I feel like I want to do, which knocks out all the doubt, all the ego, then I can get enthusiastic about absolutely anything and everything. I hope this has been enlightening. It's been enlightening to me to discover something I thought was a misstep ended up being the greatest thing I could have done with this 3-card reading. Until tomorrow, bye for now.